The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker, a nostalgic game from the early 2000s that brings back many memories from my childhood. But imagine if all of the items and their locations were random. This is exactly what we're going to look into here as we dive headfirst into the vast world of Wind Waker Randomizer. This is the very first part of a long series on all of the glitches, tricks, manipulations, combat, and movement used by top runners in the previous tournament. Before I get into the really fun stuff though, we must first go over the basics. The first thing you're going to need to know about is movement. Now there are many different ways we move throughout the Great Sea, its islands, and all of the dungeons. The first of which is something you may already be familiar with in the form of rolling. In Randomizer, we try to roll everywhere we can, and I know pressing A seems pretty simple, but I want to talk about rolling efficiently. While rolling, you may notice that the A button has the word attack flashing over it. The goal here is to essentially prevent attack from popping up at all. There's a 2-frame window in which you can press A during your roll to prevent attack from popping up, resulting in what we call an optimal roll. This essentially means you lose no speed from the previous roll and essentially just keep, rolling. Sorry, I had to do it. Timing, however, is not the only thing you need to consider when rolling, though. You should also look at your angle. In order to move left and right while rolling, you're going to use a combination of the C stick and the analog stick. Ideally, you want to keep the camera aimed exactly where you want to end up and use the analog stick to avoid obstacles and bonks. Personally, I recommend you do walk up most stairs though, as you will bonk if you don't do it perfectly. All of this rolling though will take some practice to perfect, and I recommend you use the narrow paths on Outset Island to practice both timing and positioning. Another way we like to move on land is through side hopping. Side hopping can be used in many instances, but the most common you'll see us use it is when we're holding something above our heads. Whether it be Makar, Medley, a rock, a bomb flower, or anything else that Link would put above his head, the quickest way to move would be side hopping. While it's not as quick as rolling, it definitely serves as a good alternative to walking. Additionally, side hops can be used to get you a little bit more distance before a cutscene starts, as well as countless other circumstances. On the Great Sea, however, there are obviously some different forms of movement. There is super swimming, but I'll be going over that in my next video on more advanced strategies and techniques. Without super swimming though, we will have to use the King of Red Lion. However, there are still some different ways we move about even within the boat. Instantaneously, you'll notice that in the randomizer, we have the Swift Sail from Wind Waker HD, which already doubles our sailing speed. Additionally, in the 1.8 version of the randomizer, our cruising speed has been increased as well, but unfortunately this also increases Beetle's cruise speed. No, come back. Aside from convenience tweaks increasing speed, we have to go a little further, being the quote-unquote speedrunners that we are. You may notice that when you first pull out the sail, you'll get a little boost to get you started. We're going to use this boost to our advantage in a method we call sail pumping. This involves opening and putting the sail away repeatedly to receive that boost I just mentioned. Now there is a specific timing for this, but once you learn the rhythm, it's incredibly easy and will become second nature to you. Essentially, you're just going to want to open the sail and cancel it as soon as it is fully opened, and then you're going to open it again once the yellow post on the bottom hits that green mast in the center. If you do so too early, you won't receive the boost, and if you do so too late, you'll start to lose speed, but not really enough to notice. If you were to pair the boost you get from the sail pump with a jump from the R button, you can get what I call an extended jump, which uses the speed from the sail pump boost while you're in the air. This can be used to change direction in the water without losing too much speed, but its most prominent use will be in a trick I'll show you in a little bit called Diamond Step Early. To perform a jump from a stop, you want to line yourself up with where you want to go. Press Z and immediately press R. Personally, I mash the R button for safety, even though the window is fairly lenient, but to do so while already moving, you essentially want to continue to sail pump, cancel the sail, press Z to open it in the middle of your sail pump, then press R, and this is when you can really change direction. Going fast, however, also means you're going to want to be able to stop fast. Now, of course, you could always just cancel the sail, hold the A button, wait to stop, and hop out of the boat. Or you could do the alternative, which is Wind Waker Braking. Wind Waker Braking is a small optimization that minimizes stopping time. All you have to do is pull out to the Wind Waker and come to a complete halt. This way you never overshoot your destination, you don't have to come to a crawl before you stop. This is a small optimization, like I was saying, but it becomes second nature once you've done it enough. Before I move on from talking about the boat, I have one last little note. When you do come to a stop, assuming you've gotten the hookshot and you have it equipped, you can latch onto a tree or a mailbox or anything else the hookshot will grab on some of these islands to get out of the boat a lot quicker. This is a small optimization that I only ever really see top runners doing, but it does save significant amounts of time. The last type of movement I want to talk about is aerial movement. Now this means a few things, but the first one that probably comes to mind is with the Deku Leaf. Now there are a few things I'd like to point out here. The first one is the wind. You can always play the Wind's Requiem, but that's slow. Since we have the Swift Sail, we never really need to use it. The alternative would be to aim your boat in the direction you want the wind once you've stopped, press the sail button, immediately followed by your Wind Waker button, and this will change the direction of the wind and preventing you from moving. Once you do begin to use the leaf though, there are a few neat tricks that you can do. The first thing I'd like to mention is leaf pumping. Leaf pumping is a trick where you cancel the leaf and immediately pull it out again. While this does drain your magic slightly quicker, it will allow you to maintain your height significantly longer. This allows you to clear much longer gaps and even go against the wind sometimes. Leaf pumping does come in handy with the next trick, which is ledge grabbing out of the leaf. This very handy trick lets you leaf a lot more places you normally would not be able to, such as the Ghost Ship Skip, which is basically where you just leaf across the entire ghost ship, the fan skips in Forbidden Woods, or many other locations I'm yet to talk about. In order to do that, you're simply going to cancel the leaf when you're close enough to the ledge and hold the analog stick like you're trying to climb up the ledge. If you're close enough, you'll grab it and climb. The only downside to this is sometimes you will bounce off the ledge if you do not let go on time, and this will cause you to oftentimes fall to your void, or somewhere you just didn't want to go in some cases. Additionally, when we're talking about moving through the air, we're going to want to talk about falling. If you jump from a high distance and land, normally you'd take fall damage. If you were to jump slash in the air, two things can happen to prevent that, to a degree. One, you won't do the slow animation of Link's knees break. Instead, you'll just do a normal jump slash. Additionally, if you're close enough to the ground when you press B in the air, you won't take any fall damage at all. You'll just end that jump slash and be able to keep moving. The next thing I'm going to want to show you is called bomb boosting. Bomb boosting is a thing in nearly every 3D Zelda, and it allows you to extend a jump for more height and distance. This trick is used in several locations throughout the randomizer to skip tedious section. This one is also very simple. All you do is drop a bomb behind you by pressing the B button, pull out your sword, and you wait for the bomb to begin to expand like you see here. Once it does that, you perform a jump slash, and if you did it right, you will get the boost and it'll shoot you up wherever you wanted to go. Now these are a little precise and they may take some practice to get down, but this isn't the only setup. There are a few more I recommend you go out there and check up, including side hops and some other crazy stuff. This is just the one that I find personally most consistent. However, bomb boosting, as you know, may drain your health if you take a few tries, as you are getting, blown up. This leads me directly into my next topic, the most overpowered glitch in the game. This absolutely game-breaking mechanic ensures success. That's right, it's the soup dupe. In all seriousness though, this glitch is incredibly useful, but also very simple. If you don't know, soup in the Wind Waker refills all of your hearts, all of your magic, and gives you double damage until you get hit next. Thanks, Grandma. Soup dupe essentially lets you have infinite magic health and double attack, as you can always refill it. And I said this one was easy. All you do is hit the start button and the button that you have your soup equipped to on the same frame, and then you equip another item over your soup in the pause menu. When you do this, you will drink the soup without actually consuming the item, thus letting it stay in your inventory after you've drank it and gotten all of the effects. Troubleshooting for this one can get a little funny though, because if you drink the soup, then that means you hit the item button before you hit the start button. If you don't do anything, that means you hit the start button before the item button. The latter is far more acceptable, as you won't actually consume the soup, losing that charge. And it is frame perfect, so it will take a little bit of practice to get down, but once you know it, it will help you in so many situations. This is probably the first thing I recommend you learn once you can. To wrap this video up, there's one last thing I want to talk to you about, and that is the save warp and the death warp. These two mechanics are essential if you're trying to go quick, and they basically teleport you back to a set spawn. For instance, in a dungeon you can save warp to get back to the entrance, or you can warp from the outset ferry back to the dock, saving significant time throughout your whole playthrough. In order to perform a death warp, all you need to do is, well, die, save, and continue. These will be used far less often than a save warp, but they still come in handy when paired with some crazy glitches I'll be showing you in future videos. Save warping, on the other hand, is a teeny bit more complicated, but also a lot more useful. This mechanic can get you to the spawn in approximately 13 seconds. In order to save warp, all you have to do is save the game, perform a soft reset, which occurs when you hold Start, X, and B, instantly bringing you back to the title screen. Just hold those buttons after you click play and hear the little jingle, and you're golden. When you reselect your save file, you will appear at the new location, whether it be right by your boat or in a dungeon entrance. Alrighty guys, that's pretty much it for today. I hope many of these tricks will be useful for you throughout your journey to finish the game, but these are just the beginning. In my next videos, I'll be showing you several more complex and difficult tricks and glitches to go very fast. So if you like the video and want to see more, feel free to subscribe for more tutorials, glitches, specific tricks, along with many more pieces of interesting content. Also, to see my playthroughs live or ask me any questions, you can stop by my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/rusd33, as you see at the bottom of the screen here, where I normally play about 3 times a week. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.